Hey everybody, Q-Slice here, and I just wanted to share some thoughts on the Yu-Gi-Oh community about Link. So, there are two very polarized views on each end of the spectrum about this, and though I can see where they're coming from, they are still quite disagreeable. So, I'll be talking about these two, and then I'll just put in my own perspective, see what the response is. So, the first is that Links kill the game. To those who are going to quit because of this, please stop. Links aren't killing the game. Just because you love playing Burning Abyss or Ignites or Heraldics or Clip Hordes, it doesn't mean that they're going to fall out at some point. Most of these decks already did by the time this Nationals came up. Decks will always rise and fall. Links just gave some of these decks that push. There are still well-rounded archetypes that can survive without using Link monsters, like my very own Super Heavy Samurai. If you quit, that just means that you were too weak to handle change. This was announced 5 months ago. You had almost half a year to vent about this. I personally hated on Pendulum cards when they first came out, but I had really only joined the game then, and I had no idea they were even coming. This time, I was prepared for a change in the game, and I had time to think about it. So, just stop, take a breather, and please get back in the game. Now the second is that Links are the best thing because they slow down the meta. Now, this is not that true. Links do not slow down the meta that much. If you watch Simo's video, he explains that the new rule does not affect things like Zodiac, True Draco, and Dinosaurs. The best decks are always going to be the most adaptable. You just have to wait for a ban list to kill Zoo. But that might not even happen for a long time. No one really knows when Konami would release another ban list, let alone kill Zoo with it. So Links don't really slow down the game. People will still use one extra deck monster and then put out a bunch of power-housed main deck monsters like Blue Eyes, for example. Will have start with Spirit Dragon. On your turn, they'll tribute it off for a Black Rose Moonlight or an Azure Eyes. Then, once you get rid of that, they're going to go into Hope Harbinger, possibly, or just run with the same loop. And then they'll still have 3k main deck monsters out on the field. So, with my perspective, I personally was optimistic. I thought it would do a good job of making the game itself slower, but I didn't think it would slow down the meta as much. As soon as it was announced, I knew that Ignites were going to be dead, so I decided to go back to my Reptile engine for Batman Boxers. Unfortunately, that wouldn't work as well, seeing as how a rank 4 spam will usually have more than one type of rank 4 monster on the field. So, I decided to work on Super Heavies, make it as powerful as possible for this format. I have quite a few FTK strategies, most of which only require one extra deck monster on the field, and I'm now waiting for Goku monsters to be released. Now, obviously the 5 that are released won't be enough for this deck, but once more comes out, and it inevitably will, it's still early in the reigns, and it's going to get more support. It always is on TV decks. So once these new Goku monsters eventually do come out, I'm going to add them to Super Heavies, and then splash in a Great Ogre into the extra deck. The deck itself, right now, is still slow enough to only put out one extra deck monster at a time, and it doesn't pendulum summon from the extra deck. So I had no problem adapting to the format. I can see why stuff like Burning Abyss and other extra deck centric decks would be missed, but I decided to move forward. I urge others to do the same. Please don't quit. Thank you.
make a crowd go.